The best way to properly understand what a stack or an algorithm is doing is to pull it apart so that we know what each bit of code does. So with this code, I know that it talks about variables and it talks about the cake. So I'm going to pull them out for now because I want to focus in and look at the bit about movement. So that's this inside this big forever loop here. I can move that variable down there for now. Now it's pretty much the same command. It's all to do with right, left, up and down, and each of them is adjusting the sprite's position by 1. So if I press right, I'm adjusting it by 1 to the right by increasing x by 1. If I go to the left, I'm changing x by -1. So that's my basic unit of code. I can pull this one out because it's just the same thing repeated with slightly different values. And I can see that there's a sentence, which is a really good way to take it on. If the key button is pressed, and it's the right arrow, I've selected that from the drop-down list. So if the right arrow is pressed, then it changes x by 1. Now, if I just stuck a green flag on top of that, I'd have to be pressing the green flag and then the right arrow at the same time, which is why it lives inside a forever loop. So I could just put a very small forever loop on. So that means after I press the green flag, now it's gone live. At any time, if the right arrow is pressed, the x value will change by 1 for the sprite. So I can see I've got my x value down here. So I pressed it. I can see I'm increasing it by quite a few because I'm holding the key down. The effect there as well is my sprite is moving around. At the moment, I haven't got any of the other commands coded in, so I can't move him back. I can't adjust him, which is why I put multiple ones of these together. So I've got my right arrow, my left arrow, my up arrow, which is obviously now changing by y by 1, and my down arrow, which is changing y by -1. If I put all of them inside the forever loop, just drag it over there to be tidy, press my green flag, the code is live. If at any time, forever, I press on one of those keys, it will change the values by 1. If I increase those values, it would make him faster. If I made the value smaller, it would make him slower. The advantage of putting it in one stack like this is that I can go diagonally because I can be pressing left and right at the same time. Earlier down the school, you may have seen it where we do it and we map on controls where we have, just stop my code for a second, we have up arrow increases y by 1. So we just take that code out there. And then we'd have the same thing, down arrow increases y by -1. That is all well and good, but it means we have 4 different events and we can't have 2 commands going at the same time. Tidying it up into one string like this looks a lot more complicated, but it's a lot more efficient. And it also means because we've got this forever loop, we can start including other things in it, which we do later on. So that is the basic stack of code for moving around. It's really reusable and can be done over and over again. And obviously you've got the flexibility of changing the numbers. If you really wanted to, you could change the keys as well. So you could set it off with a WASD, which is familiar in gaming. But apart from that, that is your basic unit of code, and that will be useful over and over again. So it's a really good practice to be able to code one of those very, very quickly.